Okay, good. Want to start?
Yeah.
Yeah? Cool, okay. So, hello everybody, my name is Bernd Schiffer. I'm an Agile coach, and today I'm talking about Inspire Management. And do you know that book? It's a 3-star at Amazon, so I would give it a 3-star. So if you read or already read other Scrum literature, don't read it. If you haven't read other Scrum literature, read it. Okay? So in that thing there is one interesting model. So, and that model describes an organization. So let me describe that one here for you. This permanent line here means permanent line. The other one is changing. So these are changing departments of an organization, and the rest of the organization is kind of permanent. So meaning pro renata, you can see it on meds if you have pills like those are cuffling, and I mean coughing, right? That's coughing, right? Yeah. So when you have cough pills, you can take them as much as you want, okay? And that means pro renata, take as much as you need. Okay? So, and the thing is, there are some organizations who make or who are agile pro renata, meaning, they have some departments, some IT teams, for example, and if they need agile, they take it, but if they don't need it, if they're on a different project, they drop it. Okay? So that's a changing. That means changing. Okay? So black means not Scrum, and red means Scrum. Okay, light show. Are you leaning it? Okay, yeah, no problem. You can still see the slides, okay. So then there is the so-called software studio. And in the software studio, you have the rest of the organization. Again, it's permanent. And you have some teams / some departments, some IT departments, who are doing permanently Scrum / permanently doing Agile, or are permanently Agile. And some still are not. But those who are, they are permanently Agile, okay? And there's a third thing, which is called Enterprise Scrum. And actually, the name is a little bit interesting because, well, everyone is doing Scrum in the IT department, but not the rest of the organization. And that's kind of interesting. And actually, the authors stop there. There's no more model. There's no more level, you know? So my question actually is, what about the rest of the organization? Okay? So, and, well, if you have something like that, like something in an organization which is not like the rest of the organization, it looks maybe like this, yeah, the sharp pencil, well, it's because they're doing Scrum, yeah, must be sharp, yeah? Yeah, okay. So, but the problem is, all the interfaces to the rest of the organization are kind of like it doesn't fit, you know? Every child can tell you that doesn't fit. I think at the age of 4 they learn that, okay? This is what it looks like from a perspective inside such a Scrum team, okay? So it's really like, oh, please manager, please, can I do my little Scrum here? Yeah? Maybe they're not allowed to, then it's called guerrilla Scrum, yeah? And after a while, and you're laughing, and that's actually very sad. So I've seen that as an Agile coach. That's very sad. You're trying to fight the whole organization, the whole organism. It feels like a struggle, like a fight, but it shouldn't be. And if you fight for a long time, actually, somehow you end up like this, okay? And that's really sad. So my mission is be agile everywhere in an organization. And like the title is Inspire Management. So I'm not here to tell you be agile, but I want to inspire you to be agile everywhere in an organization. Okay? So I'm here to inspire you, so you're able to inspire whoever is in your organization and, well, doesn't think he or she should talk to you because you're doing agile and it's just for IT. Okay? That's the idea. Every time you have something like this, there is a reason for that, right? Because management can't be agile because there is a reason. And they're very good in explaining that reason, right? Do you think that? Have you ever experienced that? Yeah? So there's a very nice story from Douglas Adams. Do you know Douglas Adams? Yeah, sure, Douglas Adams. How can I don't know? What a question. I'm sorry, sir. Everyone, if you don't know Douglas Adams, check him out. He's an awesome author. He's a really funny guy. And he actually wrote in The Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy, awesome book, 42. If you don't know what that means, check it out. So he wrote a little story inside the bigger story. So, and I want to read that story to you to just explain you the thing with the reason. Actually, the story is called The Story of the Reason. Okay. So here it goes. One night, a spaceship appeared in the sky of a planet which had never seen one before. It appeared as a brilliant new star moving silently across the heavens. Primitive tribesmen... Are they coming? There. Primitive tribesmen who were sitting huddled on the cold hillside looked up from their steaming night drinks and pointed with trembling fingers, swearing that they had seen a sign, and a sign from their gods, which meant that they must now arise at last and go and slay the evil princesses of the plains. In the high turrets of their palaces, the princesses of the plains looked up and saw the shining star and received it unmistakably as a sign from their gods that they must go and set about the accursed tribesmen of the cold hillside. And between them, the dwellers in the forest looked up in the sky and saw the sign of the new star and saw it with fear and apprehension, for though they had never seen anything like it before, they too knew precisely what it foreshadowed, and they bowed their heads in despair. They knew that when the rains came, it was a sign. When the rains departed, it was a sign. When the winds rose, it was a sign. When the winds fell, it was a sign. When in the land there was born at the midnight of a full moon a goat with 3 heads, that was a sign. When in the land there was born at some time in the afternoon a perfectly normal cat or pig with no birth complication at all, or even just a child with a retroussé nose, that too would often be taken as a sign. So there was no doubt at all that a new star in the sky was a sign of a particularly spectacular order. And each new sign signified the same thing, that the princesses of the plains and the tribesmen of the cold hillsides were about to beat the hell out of each other again. This in itself wouldn't be so bad, except that the princesses of the plains and the tribesmen of the cold hillsides always elected to beat the hell out of each other in the forest. And it was always the dwellers in the forest who came off worse in these exchanges. Though as far as they could see it, never had anything to do with them. And sometimes, after some of the worst of these outrages, the dwellers in the forest would send a messenger to either the leader of the princes of the plains or the leader of the tribesmen of the cold hillsides and demand to know, behold, the reason for this intolerable behavior. And the leader, whichever one it was, would take the messenger aside and explain the reason to him, slowly and carefully, and with great attention to the considerable detail involved. And the terrible thing was, it was a very good one, a very good reason. It was very clear, very rational and tough. The messenger would hang his head and feel sad and foolish that he had not realized what a tough, complex place the real world was, and what difficulties and paradoxes had to be embraced if one was to live in it. Now, do you understand? The leader would say. The messenger would nod dumbly. And you see, these battles have to take place. Another dumb nod. And why they have to take place in the forest, and why it is in everybody's best interest, the forest dwellers included, that they should... in the long run? Yes. And the messenger did understand the reason, and he returned to his people in the forest. But as he approached them, as he walked through the forest and amongst the trees, he found that all he could remember of the reason was how terribly clear the argument had seemed. What it actually was, he couldn't remember at all. And this, of course, was a great comfort when next the tribesmen and the princesses came hacking and burning their way through the forest, killing every forest dweller in their way. this is the story of the reason. And there's always a reason why not to change, why you should be like you are now, why you shouldn't adapt Agile, why an organization shouldn't become Agile. And actually, I've seen too many Agile adoptions die because the organization didn't change. Huge money burned, huge efforts were taken, just to some point where the rest of the organization somehow should appreciate what they got, what gem they actually, well, crafted. Can I say that? Yeah? You know what I mean? This is an experiment. It's called the monkey, banana, and water spray experiment, conducted in the 1950s by G.R. Stevenson. Do you know that? Have you heard about that? Hands up if you hasn't. Okay, that's enough to tell. Okay? Yeah. Right. There's a cage. In that cage, there are 5 monkeys. In some versions, there are 10 monkeys. Doesn't matter. 5 monkeys. Okay? Those 5 monkeys are very, very eager to actually get a banana. The banana is on a tree, like an old tree, like a stump. Yeah. On top of the tree, there's the banana. 5 monkeys want to get that banana. And the first monkey approaches the tree and he starts climbing the tree. But the experiment is set in a way that whenever a monkey climbs that tree, he or she is actually sprayed with water from the outside of the cage. And the only thing monkeys don't like more than banana, like what they actually don't like at all, is water. They don't like it so much that every monkey would let go of the tree and leave the banana, like, let it be a banana. Okay? You get it? Okay? So that's not the experiment, that's normal conditioning, right? So you do something, you do an action, you do a stimulus, you get a response, yeah? So, and you actually, it's Pavlov's dog all over, yeah? So, every monkey after a while learned that lesson. So all the 5 monkeys in that cage learned the lesson. Whenever they approached the tree trying to get to the banana, they got wet. They didn't want to become wet, so they never approached the tree. They never got to the banana. Now here's the interesting thing, and now the real experiment starts. Stevenson took out one monkey out of the cage, replaced it with another monkey. I call him the substitute monkey. This substitute monkey didn't know anything about that rule, about that culture in the cage. He didn't know that when he approached the banana, that he will get wet in the end. He doesn't know. So, what does he do? He's a monkey. Of course, he goes to the banana, okay? He sees the banana, immediately he goes to the banana, and now, no water is coming. No water at all. It's not necessary, because that substitute monkey got beaten down by 4 angry monkeys. They were all afraid that when that monkey reached the top, everyone else would get a little bit wet, okay? Because when you spray water in the cage, everyone gets a little bit wet, okay? So, this substitute monkey learned a different lesson. He didn't learn that when you actually approach that banana, you get wet. He learned that when you approach that banana, you get beaten up by your peers. That's very different from everyone else, right? And the experiment continued. Stevenson took out another monkey. Almost the same behavior. The second substitute monkey climbed the tree, and all the other monkeys, including the first substitute monkey, actually, well, hit him and kicked him, and, well, he wasn't allowed to climb that tree. Okay? After a while, all the monkeys in the cage were substitute monkeys. There was not a single monkey in that cage left who learned the lesson that, well, if I climb the ladder, the tree, then I get wet. Not a single one. Everyone knew, well, if I do that, something will happen. Well, I'm not sure what. Well, my peers will kick me, but that's all. I'm not sure why they do that, okay? We forgot a lot about why our organizations as they are. Do you know why we have departments? Do you know why we have hierarchies? Do we know why we actually split command and the execution of a command? Why we do that? There's so much lost knowledge, and like people don't know about that. So how can you actually change if you don't know about that? You do something because all your peers are doing it. Okay? Now, that's a clever guy. That's Archimedes. And he actually found out a very interesting physical law. I don't want to bother you with it. And he found it out in a bathtub. So he was so excited when he found out that he jumped out naked, old Greek, like a few hundred years before Jesus was born, yeah? So he jumped out naked and ran through some Greek city's streets, yeah? So, and shouted, "Eureka, Eureka!" Which is a translation, that's Greek, and the translation is, "I found it." Okay? And that is one of the first, the first stories. No one knows if it's true. It's just a nice story, okay? So no one knows it, but it's called the aha effect. So, and I want you to have some aha effects, some aha moments in this room, okay? Another guy who not he had an aha effect, but his companions had an aha effect. Do you know that one? Of course, it stands here. Okay, Columbus. Okay, Christopher Columbus, the formerly known as the discoverer of America. No, it's Eric the Red or something. Yeah. So, okay. So actually, when he wanted to sail to America, like he wanted to found a west way to India, right? So when he wanted to sail, everyone said you can't do that because the Earth is flat and you know that. Yeah. So, but he said, well, no, I think I can. So, and everyone else said, no, you can't. And he said, well, I can. I can do it the same way as I can balance an egg on its edge, on its tip. See that crack, how he did it in the end? So and everyone was like, yeah, what a mean trick. That's boring. Okay? So but actually that's inspiration. Showing others things they didn't know about to actually help them to think about other things they didn't know about before. To make them believe that something is possible to happen. Okay? Can you tell me what this is? This is a riddle, but what's the answer to that riddle? Can you tell me? Anyone? This, say loud? Not sure?
It might be punishment in absence of actions.
Punishment in absence of actions? Yeah, there's no action here. Yeah, could be. It's capital punishment. Come on, that's an easy one, right? I mean, it's capital letters, it's a punishment, right? Okay, so that's easy, okay? So, now, can you tell me what this is?
Just between you and me.
Awesome, nice! Did you have the same thought? Because you knew what you were looking for? Yeah? It's quite interesting what happens if you are inspired. You see things differently, immediately. So, yeah, just between you and me. Here's a different one. If you have something to write it down. You have 1 minute, roughly. Okay? If you know it, please don't do it. The 9-dot problem. Task. Connect all 9 dots, those 9 dots here over there, using exactly 4 straight lines, without retracing or removing your pen from the paper. Roughly 1 minute. That was roughly a minute, very fast, I admit, yeah. But actually, in experiments where people didn't know that one, the solution to this one, in experiments, no one ever did it under 2 minutes. No one. And that's because it's very hard because of the constraints set around that riddle. The constraints are different if I move it a little bit. Because it gives you a different perspective. It gives you a little bit more space to the right and to the bottom, and then you can make 1 stroke, and then you can continue the stroke over there, continue it here, and now you see how you can do it with 4 strokes. I looked it up on the internet. There are, I think, like 8 or 9 different ways to solve this one, with 4 strokes or less. It's quite awesome. Look it up. It's really enjoyable. the thing is here, this is literally thinking outside the box. And this is the best example someone can come up with to actually show you that what thinking outside the box is. There are things you can't think about if you're not inspired by others. It's not possible. Okay? So, what I did with a few colleagues of mine was coming up with AMI. AMI is an acronym and stands for Agile Management Innovations. So I explain the name later. So actually, it's a bunch of 26 different techniques, and those different techniques are like we collected them in a way to inspire others, to inspire an organization to be more agile, to have something they can work on to be more agile. Okay? Because for a whole organization, it's actually hard if they don't know where to start or what to pick from. They ask, okay, agile, yeah, do you have some kind of a menu? Yeah, where I can choose my meal from? Yeah, and we said, yeah, sure, we can do that. So, and well, I go through them one after another. Okay, so and I'm just reading them out loud. It takes about 5 minutes to go to the 26. It's just one sentence, maybe two, not more, very brief. Okay, and well, just let it in. Okay. Here we are. Open books. Business figures are accessible by employees, and employees are trained to understand these business figures. Open salary structure. Particular case of open books where employees know each other's salaries and are able to reference them in a company-wide context. Profit sharing. Employees are substantially benefiting from the company's profit. Peer salary determination. An employee's salary is determined by peers chosen by the employee. And salary self-determination. An employee's salary is determined by themselves. This is a cluster money. Okay? Sounds okay? Yeah?
Give us some examples of companies that have that sort of structure.
I'm happy to do that. In a sec, I actually have 3 companies, and I show you it after I introduced the different AMIs. Is that okay?
Sure.
Good. Collaborative infrastructure. A few of them you might know actually. Organizational retrospectives and retreats. All employees of an organization frequently gather to reflect their past, plan their future, and connect to their present. Open space technology. Meeting form to exchange ideas and connect people without having a formal agenda. And slow communication. Way of communicating asynchronously to have more uninterrupted flow moments.
Would you explain that one, please? I'm not sure if
Which one?
The last one,
one?
slow communication.
There it is. The slow communication. Well, for example, have you ever heard about Yammer? It's spelled Y-A-M-M-E-R. It was bought by Microsoft, I think, a year ago.
Yes.
So this is one example, something like that, or a Skype channel in the background, or IRC channel in the background, to have the possibility not disturbing someone when you want something from him or her. So that's a way of asynchronous communication. And that's just one very, very tangible example. There are lots of different things you can do about that. Another thing is have open hours for the team. So the team is only interrupted within those open hours by others. Every other hour, the team is with themselves and can work undisturbed. Yeah, that's another example. Teams, big chapter. Team empowerment. Teams are autonomous, self-organized, and cross-functional. Organizational partitioning. The organization consists of teams, and every employee is part of one team and one team only. Happiness index. A Nico Nico calendar, Nico Nico means smiling in Japanese, calendar is used to measure happiness within a team and company-wide. No job title or description. Employees don't have job titles and description. Sorry about the description, but it's kind of, yeah. So, hiring through team. Fresh engagements are hired and dehired by the team. Reverse accountability. Managers are accountable to employees. Whoa, awesome, awesome. Decisions or decision making. Consent, and that's not because I'm German and I can't spell it correctly. Please, I checked it several times. Big K, consent, yeah, not consensus. So, form of decision making within teams or whole organizations where a decision is made when nobody has a reasoned veto. Very different from consensus. Concrete experiments. Changes to the organizations are made with concrete experiments, including a specific time to run and a hypothesis the outcome can be compared to. True North. A range of unreachable goals helps the company to channel energy by having a direction. Simple rules, a minimal set of rules instead of a huge amount of documented instructions to make regulations within an organization. Delegation. Clarification of the level of delegation is essential for collaboration. Mastery. There are only a few more left. Peer feedback. Employees have peer groups which give regular feedback on the employee's performance and help him or her on their further journey. Mentoring and coaching. Mentors help employees to find their next career steps, and coaches help employees to grow personally. 360-degree evaluation. This is feedback through the wisdom of the crowd. All of the company's employees give small feedback to everyone they know in the company. And the last but not least, customer and innovation. Slack. Work time in which an employee is free to work on whatever he or she wants, without restrictions. Work on site. Every employee has contact with the customer, whoever that is. Net promoter system, having a tight feedback loop with the customers about products and services. Hint, I'm talking about that later. Net promoter score. Innovation days, time span in which the whole organization concentrates on creating concrete innovations. And that's it. Those are 26 different AMIs. And my apologies, but I really can't go into detail with 26 different ones. So instead, I want to show you 3 companies, and I want to show you how I see how they fit in what I call the Agile universe. And my Agile universe is an Agile onion, actually. It's just because onions have layers. Know that? Track? Anyone? No? Yeah, okay, good. That's an onion. The onion consists of, in the middle, of Agile development skills, actually everything which is cool in XP, extreme programming. Okay? So from a developer's point of view, at least. Then we have the next layer here is Scrum. It connects the team level to the management level. And on the management level, I have very good experience with Kanban as a change method. Yeah? But this is the onion as the Agile, well, the Agile umbrella is where this onion is under, yeah. But where is the Agile onion in? What is the environment of the Agile onion? So, and I came up very clever with a onion in a jar, like a Kent jar. You see the Kent jar? Yeah. Everyone? No? Okay. Okay. Kent jar. Okay. So, and those are the Agile management innovations. It's what surrounds them. Okay. That's the Agile onion. First company I want to introduce who is doing a lot of those things. A lot, really. Semco. This looks like from a like a Playboy cover in the 80s. Yeah. But actually he was a Playboy, and actually he wrote that book in the 80s. It's amazing. Like that's over 20 years. He wrote that book, and what they did is amazing, even from today's perspective. So it's very, very, very good to read. So a light read. Yeah, that's a very good recommendation. So what did they do? They had levels of delegation. So what this is Ricardo Semler, and he owned a company called Semco, and the company in the end had over 3,000 employees. That's not like a huge corporate, but it's quite good to be serious, okay, about things. So what he did is he refused at one point to make decisions. he was the head of the department, like not the head of the company. He was the head, and he refused to make decisions. What he said instead to like the next layer of management, he said, well, you're the experts for your different departments. Figure it out by yourself, and I support you where I can. And if you can't make the decision, I will help you to make the decision. Whoa, okay, so you're not doing the decisions, I should do it? I, as a lower management as you? Whoa, yeah, okay, I try, it's okay. So every time I struggle, I knew he was there to help me with that. And actually, what I, as a manager who actually experienced a treatment like that, so what I actually learned was, well, I could do that with the next layer too. I could do that in my department too. And it actually came down, like the decisions were reaching down to the people who actually knew what to do. The experts, the people who are actually working, those are the experts, okay? So management was there to help making decisions, not to make decisions. That's a form of delegation. Simple rules. At one point they had a vast amount of rules, like tax rules within the company, not the governmental tax rules. I'm not talking about that, in the company. How to do travel expenses, how to manage them, how to I don't know, times where you actually are allowed to do breaks, how should you hire or fire an employee, and all that kind of stuff. Like a huge amount of rules. And actually no one knew what rule was actually in place at the moment, because they changed a lot. Okay? So what they did, they wrote, no joke, they wrote a comic, 32 pages, each page was one rule, and they illustrated that rule with a comic. It's actually it's an appendix here in that book. It's fantastic. 32 pages only, a comic. Every new employee read that, and every new employee was like, how long do you? I do that in my number twos. I mean, 32 pages. You know, that's really a fast thing to do. Okay, so simple rules: team empowerment and organizational partitioning. They actually had so-called satellites. Those satellites were small teams who were autonomous, like they worked on their own. They were responsible for their own economy, yeah, like their economical figures, how much profit they do, how much revenue, and so on. So, and the whole organization was partitioned in with teams, and every team was empowered. So, every team, of course, hired because they were responsible for their economical figures. So they wanted to have a say who gets on the team and who doesn't. So they hired, not only with inside the company, like swapping one employee from one team to the other, but also like from outside. Okay. Reverse accountability. The managers, on a regular basis, the managers got a vote from every employee, from every subordinate, like every worker, and he or she was measured from the rest of the management in terms if he actually has goes over a different certain threshold. I think they came up with some kind of formula. Doesn't matter what formula that was. The thing is, if he was above 80%, he was fine. If he was between 70 and 80%, he was kind of, well, he was looked at suspiciously, yeah, by other managers and by the employees. So he had kind of probation, you know. And the other, if he was under 70, he was it was suggested to him that it would be a good thing to leave the company. Reverse accountability. Open books. Every book in Semco was open. Every business figure. Like whenever someone wanted to read something about the business, how the business actually works, so he could do that. Here's a tip: it's not enough to just open the books, but you should train people to read those numbers too, because people are not used to do that. Okay, so they should know the difference between profit and revenue, for example. Okay. So, profit sharing: 22% of everything Semco had on profit was shared among the employees. 22%. I think that's significant. Or a significant amount. And salary self-determination. Every employee at Semco was able to say how much he or she wanted to earn. It makes sense if you have open books. So, well, I can't say, well, I want to have $1 million. Well, then the others, my peers, would say, well, did you read the books? Did you read the numbers? We don't have a profit of 1 million. Why do you demand that? That's not possible. So think about it, right? So also the profit sharing, huge influencer of salary self-determination. Yeah. So they did all of that. So here's another company, Valve, gamer, anyone? Awesome. Two gamers. 3, 4. Okay, good. So Valve is a 300 people company. So and they make awesome games. Like this is for example Portal 2. It's a blockbuster, you would say, in gaming environment. So they do hiring through teams. They have Slack. They actually allow their people to work on whatever they want. There's no one who commands them in terms of you should do that and you should do that. No job classification means if I want to do something else than I'm doing right now because I think I can be of more value to my company and to my peers, I don't have to change my job description, which is actually a huge influencer of changing the direction you want to take on in your own company, especially in large companies. Yeah. They have peer feedback. They have actually peer groups, and they meet regularly. And the peer group gives feedback to the peer, the man in the middle. Yeah. So they have peer salary determination because the peers knows each other very well. So they actually determine their peers' salary. So. Oh, that one you know, right? Atlassian, it's Australian made, that one, okay? So, reverse accountability. Managers are judged by the employees on a regular basis. So, they have a happiness index. They actually have, when in Sydney, they have, when you walk out of the office, they have an iPad app, an iPad and an iPad app on that iPad. Next to the door. So when you walk out of it, you can press 3 buttons, or not 3, but one of 3 buttons. So a smiley, a straight smiley, and a frowny. Okay? You press those faces, and it gets conducted to a number per day. So and that number is shown on a monitor. So over like the last 3 months, is used in retrospectives to see what events changed the direction of the happiness index and all kinds of stuff like that. They have innovation days, hackathons. Yeah, do you have to tell more? So awesome things where actually, if you want to drive innovation in your company, do a hackathon. It's very easy, very cheap to organize. Really. Peer feedback. They have peer feedback. We already talked about that. So this is Atlassian. So now back to inspiration. I want to show you what happens if you inspire others. Maybe you know that video already. So that's a music festival in the US, and maybe that guy is pretty stoned. Yeah? Maybe, I don't know. But it's actually quite awesome what he's doing there. Because he doesn't give a shit about what other things. He's just enjoying himself at the moment. And he's having a really good time. And now a peer comes along. Well, maybe he's stoned too. Maybe. So. And, well, they enjoy themselves. And now watch what happens. You get the idea, right? So that's inspiration, I think. Someone who's really like up for it and just give it a go for a certain amount of time, okay? To actually inspire others. So that's my inspiration for you. A warning in the end. I'll leave you out here in 1 minute. A warning in the end. You can't copy culture. So there's no way, think about it, there's no way that you just take one AMI or 2 or 3 and just implement it in your company. No way. You have to find your own way. 50% of what makes an AMI work has to do, at least 50%, with the organizational culture. If your organizational culture is not fit for that, no way you can implement it. But if it is fit, then you still need to figure out how you can implement it in your own company. Those things are too big to just, they are not recipes. They're not agile management recipes. And please, be very careful if someone sells you recipes, okay? I give you agile management innovations, and it's innovation because you have to innovate that within your own company. That's why they're called AMIs, agile management innovations, okay? That not because they're innovative, you have to be innovative with them. Okay. Do management experiments. Do you know, like when you throw a cat up in the air, so not throw up, but you know what I mean? Yeah, you let the cat drop. It lands on its feet, right? Yeah. Have you done that? It really works. If you do that, the same thing like with a marmalade toast, okay? So you just let it drop. It always lands on the marmalade side, always, right? So what happens if you strap this on the back of that and toss it somewhere out of the window?
The cat eats the toast.
That's one answer. Another answer is like black hole will the time-space continuum will implode or something like that. Or it will never land. It will rotate in the air. I don't know. I have no idea. And you don't know either what actually happens when you implement an AMI in your organization. That's why management experiments are so important. Okay? Do an experiment. Do it for a short amount of time. Have an idea what the outcome should be like a hypothesis. Okay? So, and then compare the hypothesis with the actual outcome. And then reflect over that, and then think about what you should change, or if you might want to stop that right now, or if you want to do more of that, something like that. Okay? Now, I hope my message is clear, was clear. I want you to be inspired. I want you to inspire others with something like that, and I hope a little bit of the energy I have is you have it right now, okay? Then my message came over. If you want to read more, the slides are on Lanyard in a few hours, I think. So, and also on SlideShare. And, well, thank you very much.